Okay, now we're going to wheel out our quarter panel piece. And what does a little bicycle fender have in common with this piece? Well, if you were to wheel this piece this way, you've got to use a very, very high crown anvil that doesn't have very much contact area. You're not smoothing very much. So, if we distort these pieces and change their arrangement, we can use a lot flatter anvil. And I know some people are thinking, what are you doing? You're just bending that all out of shape. Well, it has enough memory when you want to put it back, just put it back. It doesn't care. It's just going back into the shape you tell it to. So, on a real small piece, it's easy to kink it, but this great big piece, we'll fold him up and we can use our 12-inch radius anvil. So now, this part that was curved is flat, and it's a lot easier to wheel. You're less likely to put marks in it, and your work goes faster the larger radius anvil you can use. So we'll stick it in the wheel, and right now I've got the wheels just barely touching. I'm not trying to stretch any of the material. We're just wanting to smooth it right now. So we'll jab it in the wheel here. Bend it up a little bit too much, but we'll go right to work here. And that's just taking all the highs and lows and squashing them together. Now, like this great big guy right here, if you try to wheel over it this way, it's real jumpy in your hands. So you can just take him and bump him out of the machine, and he's gone. So we'll get to the big ones later. We'll just try to smooth the whole surface here. I suppose this is as good a time as any to talk about how an English wheel works. You see on TV, you always see the last 10% of the shaping, and it looks like they've done the whole thing on the English wheel. Well, as you can see from the hammering we did, how long it would take you to make this piece on a wheel alone. Well, it can be done, but the more time you take, the more this part is going to cost the customer. So, you got to get a little creative once in a while and figure out how to work smarter instead of harder. But you can't really replace a wheel for making a real nice low crown shape that has to be very even, like a Model A door skin. If I were to try to hammer that out on the hammering machine there, I would probably absolutely ruin the piece within the first 2 minutes of working on it. There's some guys that can do it, but they're very biased to one machine and one machine only. And the way this wheel is working is the bottom radius die is how much contact you're going to smooth on the panel, and your upper die is always flat, just like when you hammer and dolly. So the larger radius anvil we use on the bottom, the faster it's going to smooth our panel. Just like if you're working on a door, you don't grab the roundest dolly you have. And all the wheel is doing is holding pressure up and down from the top wheel to the bottom wheel. And anything that isn't the right profile of the bottom wheel gets squashed, just gets shoved down into shape. And we're not really stretching the metal here, we're just smoothing right now to see where we're at. So we'll come out of the wheel and push it out and see where we are. So now you can see, after I put a big palm print in it, and that's the other thing that's really nice about the hammering machine. That one hammer blow stretches down into that dish and creates a ruffle because there's less surface area in the bottom of the dish. So that head is stretched. Then when you work that ruffle out, it shrinks. All these little lines here are where the metal has shrunk. So it's very neutral. It's not a real hard, stiff panel that's unmanageable. It leaves everything so neutral, it's like working with a fresh piece of sheet every time you do something to it. And all I'm doing is encouraging this shape to come over a little bit, because I have kind of bent it all out of shape. So now that's kind of where we're at, and I'll grab the radius gauge, and what we're looking for is a 6-inch radius. So you can see we're right there on a 6-inch radius. We're a little shy there, even more shy there, but the part is coming around very fast. The only start and stop you see in the video is a tooling change or changing machines. So I'll probably wheel this out the rest of the way and kind of wash some of this waviness out, so that way the panel's not conflicted. Every time you've got a ruffle like this, something's causing it. Something has changed to make this happen. So we'll wheel this entire panel and smooth it and make it as neutral as possible to relax this edge, so it'll shape up faster for us when we've got to tune up our radius. So we'll go back to the wheel, and I think this part here is good enough for this stage of shaping, so we'll wheel from about here down.